Welcome back to another episode of Elevator Dialogue here on the Unkle Junior Network. We are back with another episode, and with me tonight is some of the other members of my wolf pack, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Antoine C. Dot, the other artist. We have Victor Viziant W slash Accountable Masculinity, two-time best-selling author. We have across the table Little W slash Christopher McClellan, the angry guy that is still learning. And I am the Uncle Junior, the consistency coach. Gentlemen, how y'all doing today?
Excellent.
Really
Really
well,
good.
really
Good.
well.
I'm good.
Man, I'm glad y'all are, man, because I needed the energy, bro. I've been not dragging. I just had a long day, long week. Over here trying to got in late today. Didn't get to finish my dinner over here, man. I'm busting down these Brussels sprouts. Bro, I ain't eat Brussels sprouts growing up, so I didn't know what I didn't know. People said they taste like cabbage and stuff like this, but they do, but they don't. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? But
yeah, they are a real unique, you know what I'm saying, flavor depending on how you cook them,
I think you either like them or you don't.
You either like them or you don't, man. Like it's just it.
Chris, you like them? You like Brussels? You muted.
I'm gonna be real with you. I've never had them.
What?
Brussels sprouts?
Never had them.
Bro, I didn't have them until a couple years, so I get it. Like we didn't have Brussels sprouts growing up ever. If we did, I don't remember. Charlotte, in if you there, put in the comment if we had Brussels sprouts, but I don't remember ever eating any Brussels
Brussels
sprouts growing
sprouts.
up. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Wow, really?
yeah.
Yeah,
The
like
first time I had them was a couple years ago. Me and my wife, we had met up with a couple in Charlotte, and they had ordered some, and I was like, man, them jokers was good. But yeah, I'll tear up some Brussels sprouts now.
I guess
Yeah,
that's I'm gonna have to put that on the menu because like I said,
bro.
I've never had them.
Yeah, I'm over here making sure I ain't got none in my teeth. I hope I don't. I didn't. I was eating them, man. I took that last little bite while the intro was going on. But with that being said, gentlemen, we talking about the power of values and adding values to other and different things like that, man. But just in y'all opinion, what do y'all think values are? What are values?
um a personal code, moral compass, you know, uh functioning off of boundaries pretty much.
What's been instilled in you growing up? The importance of certain things, tradition, you know, stuff like that.
I would say values can be principles too, like just things that you want to have and things that you won't tolerate not having. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely get all of that, man. What about the concept of values? Like, what about like your values and like what they mean to you personally? You know what I mean? Because like, and how have they evolved over time?
I have learned that I will never be the cool kid ever, like ever in life. So instead of valuing what I thought my life would be being one, I started valuing my life as it is right now. You understand what I'm saying? Like you change what you if you're growing and you're actually maturing and you're learning from your experiences, you really change how you think coming up from where you were to where you are. So your values have to evolve. Like right now, my top value is my health. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's nothing outside of me. So yeah, they do evolve. Sometimes, yeah, when you grow up, man, you figure out what's really important.
New information should evolve all your opinions anyway, Sometimes you operating like what Chris talks about is operating on blind loyalty and blind trust without investigating anything. You learn new information you change the information that you pay attention to.
So here's what I'll read this. Values are deeply held beliefs and principles that guide and inform an individual's thoughts, actions, and decisions. They are the moral and ethical compass that helps people determine what is important and meaningful in their lives. Value can vary significantly from one person to another and can be influenced by cultural, social, religious, and personal factors. And I got a whole list of values over here. Chris said one was health, growth, gratitude, generosity, acceptance, compassion, confidence, skills, perseverance, patience, manners, loyalty, self-love, relationship skills, resilience, respect, responsibility, integrity, intensity, kindness, leadership. All of those things, those are just a few of the many of the different values that are out there, and they do evolve over time. I think maybe when we were young, for some people, health may not have been something that they really valued or that was valuable to them. And then as they got older, or they may have had a sickness, or they may have had a family member experience a certain amount of sickness, or they may have seen someone die because of a sickness, or just because they didn't have their health. And then over time, they start to understand or create or start developing the value of health. So I definitely believe that they can evolve over time.
Yeah, I think they change as you get older, right? Because
Mhm.
you tend to find out what's more important. You tend to realize what's wrong and right. You tend to understand the things your father told you when you were younger. Now you're older. Your mother told you. Then you understand where they're coming from when they instill certain values in you and morals and codes and all the information that you need to become the man that you are today, right? So I think as you get older, as you get older, um, yeah, they become stronger. And you know what? Some you lose, and some the strong ones you hang on to the sides that work for you. You hang on tight to the ones that work for you.
I, I think another word that you gave off a list of words,
Mm-hmm.
but discipline determines your values too.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Undisciplined people don't have the same values as disciplined people.
Yeah, discipline is a value itself.
Yeah, it is, and
Mhm.
that's the thing that I value most at this stage as well, is that all of the things that we're talking about amount to a level of discipline that a person is displaying.
Mm.
And if you align it with people that's undisciplined, you're gonna have some friction somewhere, and it's not necessarily gonna be for uh probably in your best interest. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask
Unnecessary.
a question?
Yes.
Because I also heard the list that you read off, and the more you read, the more I went from thinking value to thinking character trait. So can a value also be a character trait too?
I don't see why
Because
not.
discipline is a character trait. Having a skill is, you know what I'm saying? That can also be a character trait, because you need consistency to get that skill. You
Bingo.
understand what I'm saying? Consistency is a character trait too. So it's like I'm asking questions because every time I get on here, I learn something new. So I just want to be very, very clear.
Because the reason why, like discipline itself, right, being a character trait, it can cross a bunch of different boundaries, right? There's a perception of every person when you see them, and then when they speak or what they choose to discuss and what interests them gives you a better profile of the individual. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you could end up being all the way right or all the way wrong about a person, and if you observe what they're disciplined at, like Antoine's a painter, uh Aunt works at, what I'm saying, with kids at school, so you got to have a certain type of discipline about you. You know what I'm saying? Working out, those things that pour into what you value about yourself pivots off what you're disciplined at. You either disciplined or not. Some things we're more disciplined in and less in others, but the things that you're not disciplined in, you don't. That's not what you advertise.
Yeah.
So
So here, oh, so here's what I just asked the internet, and here's what the internet said. Character traits and values are related concepts, but they have distinct differences. Character traits refer to a person's inherent and relatively stable qualities or attributes. These qualities, attributes, and individuals' personality, behavior, and disposition. Character traits are often seen as descriptive and observable aspects of a person's nature, and they may include attributes like honesty, integrity, courage, humility, kindness, and patience. Values, on the other hand, are deeply held beliefs and principles that guide an individual's thoughts, actions, and decisions. They represent what a person considers important, meaningful, and right or wrong. Values are often more abstract and can encompass moral and ethical principles such as honesty, justice, freedom, and environmental stewardship. Values are not necessarily observable like character traits.
So they work together, but they're not the same thing,
Mhm,
basically.
related.
Okay.
mhm.
Yep.
Okay.
Closely
Yeah.
related.
The moral ethical framework.
Hmm.
I
It's,
get that.
So
it's
where do you guys think your values really come from? Where do you guys think? Do you think you inherit them, or do you think that you get them as you grow
I think
instinctively?
you get them. I think you get them when you come into this world because of your environment that you're in, and
Okay.
then they change as you expand your environment. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right.
Like my my core values, along with just values that I have in general, are way different than I was when I was in the same environment that had me where I was. You understand what I'm saying? So I guess it. I don't think that's something that you can like generalize, but I do really, 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 really believe that a lot of times value change comes with an environment change.
easily.
Yeah.
I think what you learn as values comes with an age of understanding. Like when you're young, you don't know why you're doing what your parents are telling you to do until you see how it affects others. And now you got something tangible to connect it to. You know, like if you're an only child, right? Your upbringing is going to be different than a child that's been raised with other people where, you know what I'm saying, they have to account for their sibling. You know what I'm saying? And so their value system is going to be different. They might still believe in sharing. They might get taught that. But if you don't get to exercise that, how do you apply it? And
Mhm.
then, so you can't expand your belief system until you've had to engage with other people with different belief systems. This is why relationships fail and work because of value system. You take that outside. Like I say this all the time. After a certain age, you're going to make decisions based off of how you was raised, good, bad, and different. You know what I'm saying? When you think about how you were raised, you're going to make a different decision or the same decision. So the first values that you get brought into the world with and raised under are kind of indoctrinated. You know, you're indoctrinated into that. Then when you get new information, what you really want to do comes out of whatever it is that you adopt as being right, wrong, and indifferent. Because you got a choice at some point, and then that's going to define what your character is. You know, because a person can choose to go be a uniformed personnel like a police officer, right? But their individual character is going to determine how they conduct themselves within the uniform itself. You know what I'm saying? Which is why that relation to the definitions. You know what I'm saying? One, can it cross boundaries? Yeah, they can be related, but they're not the same. You know,
So, Chris, you said you think people's values change over time, or you said something, and I want to get back to it.
No, I said that I don't think you can put like you can generalize like a specific time that it happens, but
Hmm.
I do know that a value change and environment change are correlated. I'm not
In an
saying
environment. So you think
yeah,
that you say the environment can change the value.
yeah,
Okay, so
depending on
that's
where you at. And
okay.
this is me speaking as somebody that's going through it.
Okay.
You understand
So
what I'm saying?
so I looked up, I got an example of using the word discipline, right? So here's the value discipline. Here's the description of it. Discipline is a value that reflects a person's commitment to self-control, order, and the ability to adhere to a structure and organized way of life. It involves setting goals, maintaining routines, and showing dedication to achieving one's objective. Imagine a person who strongly values discipline. Here's how this may influence their behavior and decision making. When it comes to academic excellence, physical fitness, different things like that. So you think that if someone moves in a different situation, that their value would change. So it's like the value of discipline would change based off of the situation that they're in.
No, I do believe that the way it's implemented would change because the environment changed. She would have to
Okay.
change it. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I said that
Mhm.
they're correlated. You understand what I'm saying? When you go into a different environment, no matter what, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have to at least you're gonna have to adhere to the environment.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you're in an environment that and if you're in an environment and you are taught certain values and then you get out in the real world outside of your environment and you see that what you taught ain't really what it is, you know what I'm saying? That's why I said that normally values change when environments change.
That's why I said like everything in the world that you go out and test is you're testing it based on what you were taught. Like when kids go to school and their parents been at home helping them with homework, right? And then mama or daddy think they teaching the kid the right thing. Then they go to school and then the teacher says all of this is wrong. And they're gonna say, "Are you sure?" Because my daddy and my mama or my parent, whoever my guardian is, said that this is right. Because the first teacher is the parent, right? So everybody else in the world has to overcome that child's understanding of what's right and what's wrong. And that's taught to them by who raised them. So when they go out and they realize that their parent is wrong, they have to accept a value shift, a value change. They have to figure out where to put that new information and adjust their perspective. This is where you start learning tact, because if you got one of those parents that think everything they do is right, and then they go to school and the teacher is wrong, what type of perception are you shaping for that child and how they absorb new information, correction, and things of that nature, right? And this is why we talk about a lot of times people want to correct the children's behavior, but they need to correct the adults' behavior alongside it. And if not, in front of it, because this is what you're teaching.
Man, a lot of it is the adults, and I work in school, so
Yeah.
that's
Not
that's
even
another
that.
whole show.
And
Mhm.
and you said, does it change when you grow up or was it change when you get older? How about when you get out of school and then you move into a different state and that different state has different laws? You have to figure out how to use that value of discipline to adhere to the new environment. You can't move like that. That's what I mean by environment change. You know what I'm saying? When
Yeah.
you change environments like that, your value system or the way you implement the value that you have has to change to fit the environment so that way you can move fluid within the environment.
Okay, but if you have there's certain values, core values, values that you'd heed to, values that you know represent who you are, represent who your family is, ones that were instilled. Those don't change no matter where you go on in
Like
earth.
honesty.
Like honesty,
Right.
trust, loyalty, code to the family, things that your father instilled. Like there's right from wrong. Speak
Right.
up, stand up from yourself. Those are things that aren't going to change, right? You guys are
Yeah.
talking about the ones that move around and change by city are surface values.
No,
They're
no,
not
no, 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 no.
core values.
I didn't say that they changed. I never said that they changed. I just
What
said the
you
way
said
you
they adapt?
implement them.
Yeah,
The
You
you
way
just
you
implement.
adapt. You
implement
just
them changes.
flexible.
It's still the same. I'm still going to be honest. I'm still going to show discipline. I'm still going to do all of those things, but I have to do those things to be conducive to the environment that I'm in if I want to thrive in it. You understand what I'm saying? But they're still there. I'm never going to not be honest and I'm never going to not be disciplined.
Right,
You understand what I'm
but
saying? So I get what you're saying,
yeah,
but I get what you're saying as far as they never go away, but sometimes you
Mm-mm.
have to change how you implement them to thrive or
Th-
to
and
move
it,
forward.
and this is why Unc was talking about it being related to, but not being the same thing. Like this is about being adaptable. Like you can
Yeah.
be you can have like your core principles that you won't compromise. Everybody's got something that they won't compromise, right? And where you choose to display them and when to assert them is contingent upon the environment. You could be absolutely right, but some places where you need to prove to be right is just simply by not saying anything. Some place where you need to say something. But being able to read the room is going to tell you when to apply, you know what I'm saying? Like when to assert yourself. Sometimes leaving a situation is asserting yourself too, because you don't have to be part of something. Sometimes you don't have to verbalize why you're not participating in something. Sometimes simply removing yourself from it is protest enough.
Right.
And but if you're raised with core principles where you have to be loud and obnoxious and voice your discontent with something, you might be putting your life on the line if you're in the wrong room for no reason.
Yeah. Exactly.
This is about knowing, like, and this is why I said discipline, right? If you speak when you're spoken to, you got way less problems.
That
Yeah.
part. Hey, gentlemen, think about a moment in your life where you realize the significance of aligning with your core values.
Man,
I will tell you, for me, it was when I was like going through my journey to find my purpose, man. And I really, cause I always worked out in the military and stuff. Like, there was always something like, I just did. But then when it aligned, like kind of with my purpose, because part of my purpose is giving back the information. You know what I mean? In a nutshell. So the longer I'm here, the more information I can give back. So if I work on my health and work on my fitness, I could be around here longer to give back more information. So when the discipline and the health and stuff all came together and aligned up, and I realized that, like it's like the question asked, I realized the significance of them aligning together, because now everything just works together. It's like what I want to do, what my core value is, what I enjoy to do, and just what I need to do. Everything just aligns up with progressing forward in life to be around here longer to give back the information. So for me, it's all wins across the table. But my, like, for the question, the moment was pretty much when I was going through my journey and finding my purpose.
Um, I think mine happened when I moved here. The same thing like you, I think, Garfield, along the lines of going after, like I was, you know, instilled with going after what you want. Don't care about what nobody else says. This is who you are. This is who you're meant to be. Nobody's gonna hand you anything. I really aligned with that and really believed that, and that's what brought me here. I think because of the core values that I have that were instilled with me. Go after it. Don't worry about it. Nothing else matters but what you want to do. That was the time I think I really stuck to my guns. Yeah, that's the only thing I could really think of that I could say all came together.
I'm going to say it was the moment that I found out that I didn't have any because of how I was moving and how I was getting treated. No lying. So I sat down. I think
he
it was
had no
about,
code.
right, right. It was about, I would say 15 years ago. I sat down at my dining room table and I asked myself, why am I doing this? And then I said, why do I keep getting treated like this? And then I look back at all of my relationships, like all of them, male to female, friends, family. I looked at all of that and I said, I want the opposite of this.
When you say treated as in disrespected,
And that period, just
okay.
how, you know what I'm saying, just overall. And I found that I wasn't happy. And then I adopted my happiness as paramount. So my happiness being paramount became a core value. You understand what I'm saying? Moving with honesty, that became a core value. Being righteous in what I'm doing and understanding that what I'm doing is bigger than me, that became a core value. So I would say it was about 15 years ago.
Wow.
Uh,
Being honest takes work, though, man.
I would,
And it sucks because you got to take accountability for your part.
Yeah. Being honest takes work,
It
man.
sucks.
Woo. I don't care what anybody says. Woo.
I would,
It don't take work if it's part of your core values.
if it's part of which is
Yes, it's part of your core value, but it still takes
But-
work. Come on, guys.
but
I don't think
still,
it takes
but-
work. I think
yeah,
but
yes,
for
it
me-
does. Yes, it does.
But
And
for
here's
me,
why.
it's not
A
that
lot-
it takes work. Go ahead, then I'll go.
A lot of people have never used that muscle before. So they
Yeah.
got to get it working. So it's hard in the beginning because you're using a muscle you never used before. It's like the first 30 days in the gym.
But then,
It
so then,
sucks.
is that part of your core value? Then
No.
it can't be. If it's hard, then is
If
it
it's
really
hard, yeah.
part of who you are?
exactly like
Maybe you really ain't an honest person. If you're struggling to be honest, are you really
Yeah.
an honest person?
No, it's not that. It's not that. What I mean is, and what I mean exercising that muscle, I mean acting in it and it being okay now. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm honest because it's okay to be honest. You understand what I'm saying? Now I don't have to sugarcoat nothing or nothing like that. You understand what I'm saying? But I can really be honest, and that's a muscle I didn't know how to use.
Are you being honest or are you being direct?
Two different
I'm
things.
being
no?
directly honest.
Yeah.
nah.
I'll
Got
take
that shit
that.
right.
I'll
Hey.
take that.
I would say my alignment came when I would probably say when the first time I probably had to really stand up for myself and really like something along the lines of what Chris is talking about, and like really like defend myself when it came down to my space and like and what I was standing on. When you had to look up and figure out who's supporting you and who's not, who always needs something and who isn't, And when I started taking those things into real consideration, it really came about when I joined the military, and after joining, like going overseas and coming back, and then going home and like coming back from overseas to visit people that, were making myself available to be seen, and then not, what I'm saying, always getting the same thing in return. And then you like, you know what, man, let me just turn this part off and just wait until somebody asks for it. I think that's the thing that most people deal with. It's like cutting yourself away and then accepting that you cutting yourself away didn't affect anybody else. And then all you got to work off of is, what I'm saying, where you being embraced and where you're not. Then now you got to change how you're giving that that energy to places where it's not being reciprocated. You know what I'm saying? And I think that you have to have a real honest alignment about that at some point, So because all of us believe that we affect everybody when we create something, but you have to realize that everybody ain't your audience.
And that's a fact right there.
You want to know another one of my core values?
Mhm.
Taking the L.
Taking the L, accepting the loss, man.
Take the L.
That's
Why is that so hard? Like, life
when
will
you
show
used to look. If you used to win
It'll
and
show you L's, man. Look in the
look,
mirror. It's gonna show you L's. Life is gonna teach you that. Who you fooling?
but this is the thing, though,
here's-
Antoine. You have an
and-
outlet. You have an outlet, Antoine. You know how to mold your L's into something creative. That
True, but I mean,
everybody doesn't have a creative outlet. There's a lot of people that do not have a way to manifest, transmute, and do something constructive with their negative energy. You know what I'm saying? When they don't get what they want. A lot of people self-destruct because they lack creativity.
Let me go ahead and bottom line this too.
Go
A
ahead.
lot of people don't know that as value because they were never taught that they had value to begin with. So that's where a lot of this starts. You understand what
Okay.
I'm saying? I understand I am valuable and my time is valuable and my happiness is paramount. So if you are doing anything to if you are doing anything to mess any of that up on purpose, I'm taking an L and I'm going about my business. A lot of dudes out there don't know how to, they don't have the self-esteem to do that, for lack of a better term. And they've also been taught that they had to take that in order to be considered a real man. You understand what I'm saying? So we come from different environments. We come from very different environments. So this part of the game you will probably never understand because you've never seen it. Just like I don't understand what you grow up with because I ain't never seen it. You understand what I'm saying? But it exists. It exists for real.
I just think as men, like when you have a core value that you believe in, and I want to say, I just think that when you have a core value that I don't think anybody should be able to throw you off your plan.
Give us an example, like what that, like, because like I understand what you're trying to say, but I think that you can illustrate it better, and then because
I got one. I got one.
I mean, I get it in context, but
I got one.
It's like when I was coming here, you know, I was really sad. I was going to lose my girl and all that. My father just looked at me going, what, you can't get another one? What's wrong with you? Fold it up. Let's go. You know, you got to go. It's like, I instilled that in you. What's wrong with you? Since when do you believe in anchors and people out taking you off your path? If I can't take you off your path and I'm your father, who the hell is outside of me that's stronger and it has that stronger hold on you? And I just find that would be an example. It's like, you know, and when I say being kind, oh man, I'm going all over the place. I'll leave it at that.
I got one. So here I'm looking at this list, and one of the core values, or one of the list of values, is humor, right? So have you ever seen movies or known anybody in your family or just anybody out there that you know may have been an upbeat person, humorous, always joking, just a nice spirited person to be around?
That would be me.
And then they lose their wife or their husband or a child or something. And then now it goes away. So I think, you know, sometimes life or situations can adjust or change our core values. Like for them, maybe because of what they're going through, it may not, or is that still their core value, but there's something else that's taken over and not allowing them to be their true self.
Okay, but let's be real. Dramatic situations in life, like death, birth of your child, that changes you. That's like dramatic change. That's like that can change you from the core, right? Let's be real on that.
Yeah,
death is not so. You know, people say you don't get over death. You learn to live with it. That's I mean, that's a fact. You don't get over death. You learn to live with it. There's certain things that would definitely, I believe, throw your core values into a ruckus. And yeah, I agree with you on that.
Poverty changes your core values.
What'd you say?
Poverty.
Definitely. I think, yeah, you see, that's
go
dramatic.
Go broke.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's true. No, that's a life-changing thing. That's a life core value changing thing.
Poverty changes your discipline.
Yeah,
exactly. Because if you're having to work 2 jobs, you know, and you're tired from working 12 to 14, 16 hours a day, you really feel like going to the gym? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, I'm just saying, I'm not in this situation, but I'm just speaking, you know, maybe from someone who may be in this situation. I don't know what it's like. Finances, but I know that people work 8 hours a day and don't feel like going to the gym. So I can only imagine if you're working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, because good, bad, or different, you didn't make you made different choices and you allowed yourself to be in this situation. But it is what it is. Let me give a shout out to some people in the chat real quick. Charlotte Jordan, appreciate you being here. She said no, we did not have them. So referring back to the Brussels sprouts, we did not have Brussels sprouts going up. Shout out to Brussels sprouts. Shout out to Real Bravado Network. What's going on, brother? Good to see you here. Appreciate you as usual. If you have not already, go over to his channel and subscribe over there. You have a lot of good content. I put the link in. He might come up tonight. I don't know.
You don't
Ladies
ever
and
bring me on.
gentlemen,
I ain't going
shout
nowhere.
out shout out to John Washington. He said, "What's up?" And ladies and gentlemen, I am not going to allow the spell check. I think she put this in on purpose. I think this is a Dallas fan. So shout out to her, Dreadhead Temple, the Dallas fan.
And you said the name wrong and everything. That is Dee Red.
D Red Temple. Bro.
And I know for a fact she's a Saints fan.
Yeah.
But
there we go. There we go.
You just turned into
D Red. So she a Dallas fan. That's I don't believe in spell check. So to me, no, I'm saying. What else? But again, man, thank y'all for being here tonight. Even y'all on the panel, man. For real, appreciate y'all being here. What else I had to go to? Oh, all right. Now, how do our values impact our day-to-day choices?
Ooh,
it changes who you communicate. Values determine who you communicate with.
Let's pick a value. Let's pick a one. Focus. Focus is a value. How does focus impact our day-to-day choices?
I think how much you look at your phone, how much distraction you have in your life.
Ooh.
Discipline.
I mean, that's why I told you got my red light, man. Don't matter to me. You know what I mean? Once that's on, man, I'm good. Pot of coffee, listening to Unkle Junior or Vic's show in the morning, or you guys on Friday. I'm focused, man. That's all that's in my background and just gets me through. Boom. You know what I mean? And even if I think I had a significant other, she would get it, because I hope she has something better to do than to worry about me.
Focus.
I think, focus is key, man.
What about discipline? How does discipline impact our day-to-day choices? That's for Chris.
Focus.
Go either one.
Focus and discipline keep me alive.
Situational awareness, baby.
Not even that. The way that I work out, I have to focus, or else I'm going to die because I lift heavy shit. When I'm out here doing my thing with doing dispatching or delivering for Amazon, I have to focus on the road and focus on where I'm dropping this stuff off, or I'm, or I'm endangering myself or endangering a portion of my livelihood. Focus and discipline all through the day. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No complacency. Like if you are undisciplined, unfocused, you're gonna be complacent. Your life is on the line. You can't casually just stroll through life thinking that nothing can hurt you. Like you see people walking on their cell phones, looking at their phone, crossing streets, parking lots, driving unfocused, distracted everywhere,
getting their cars jacked at the gas station.
Yeah, and that's just a lack of situational awareness all the way around. And I think that when I'm saying these things, it's because a lot of people walk around without the thought of something random and negative happening to them. And this is why when I talked about earlier, when we say, do your core values change based on your environment? No, but the way you display them does.
Let me ask you guys something. Let me throw something in there at you, Vic.
What's up?
Do you guys think women have to be as focused as men and have moral codes like men? Or do you think they have to have more? Do you think men have to have it more with women?
I don't know if this is a softball question or not.
Meaning, like, men have to be focused? We have to be focused. We do so much during the day. We have so much we're accountable for, and we have so much that we don't mind being accountable for it. But do you think that our core values that we are raised with, we hang on to them because we got pride, ego, and all that stuff, masculine shit that goes with it? Do you think women have to do it as much as men?
I'm gonna quote, not necessarily from this book.
That's a real question.
But everything you talked about with men is covered in this right here. That's the point. But you asked, do women have the same pressure on them to be aware of everything that men are, right? That's basically what you're
like morals and value. They hold on to that moral value code, moral values in their core, like men do. Like we operate off of it.
Have you ever seen The Godfather?
Yeah, like that.
Okay, you remember what Vito told Michael Corleone?
Which movie and which time? Just tell
First,
me.
first
I love
Godfather
it.
movie. He told Michael Corleone. He said, "Women and children are afforded the opportunity to be reckless. Men cannot be."
Okay, good, right.
So that answers your question right there.
Right there. Okay, that does. So I thought like that, but I just wanted to see if I was the only one.
When you think about it, right? Who leads in society when it comes down to infrastructure, making sure the roads are straight, sanitation, all of your regular things that you just drive past every day and take for granted? Is it women or is it men?
Men.
That's who's not afforded the opportunity to fold. This is why all men share, well, all like-minded men share the thoughts that we discuss up here, because who you gonna go complain to? You can't go complain to the people that you lead. They don't trust the leadership anymore.
That's what I mean. So we're fair to say that I just feel as men, our core values and our leadership, we go through so much dealing with our core values and leadership and what we believed in, what we were raised in, plays such a big role in who we are, the men we are today. It just surprises me that like Chris was saying, you know, some men don't have that or aren't instilled with it. Like
some men don't have no code either.
Antoine, can you ask your original question again?
I said, do you think that women, the way men hold their core values and operate behind it because of their ego, they just believe that's how things should be, they go out there and get it. Do you think it's just as strong for women?
My response and what I was thinking about is that it's not that. I think that because we're not the same, I think that what we consider valuable and what we focus on in our values is what separate, or what's the difference. You know what I mean? Not that one does more than the other. I think that it's just what we focus on. Whereas certain, you know, if you look in general, men may focus more on A, B, and C, and whereas women may focus more on X, Y, and Z. And because men focus on this and women focus on this, the way it's going to be displayed is going to look different. So that's what I think. I don't think that it's more about we do more than them. I think it's we do different. We focus on
being
different
complimentary.
things.
You don't think we do more? You don't think we do more than them? Really?
They don't
I
need
think
to
that
do what
our
we do.
responsibilities
They,
are different.
they have an easier chance to live on easy.
Well, here's the thing.
I
though.
believe that
think it's
we have a
different.
different responsibility
Different
to
responsibility.
society.
Yes.
That's what it is.
They,
And the thing is, and I'm glad you mentioned that, the lines are being blurred because of the fact that both sides are technically capable of doing the same thing, meaning that if she applies for a job and I apply for a job, we both can get the job because we applied for it. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter who's better than what. It's just that they can do what we do, and since they can do what we do, it's like our values had to change because their values changed. You understand what I'm saying? I don't believe that you can kind of compare the two, because our responsibilities to society are different. We are the builders. We're the ones that make sure that the world functions. They are supposed to be the ones that make sure that the world inside our world is functioning. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, they have it.
So we have to do I wouldn't say easier because, like I said, I wouldn't say easier because we're different. But what I will say is, if you're talking physicality, heavy lifting, using a sledgehammer to destroy cinder blocks and things like that, if you're talking physicality, then yes, they do have it easy, quote unquote.
Let me try to answer this with Antoine, right? All right. Policemen and firefighters, right? Both of them are valued. Do we agree with that?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay. Do you expect the firefighter to do the job that the police do?
Yep. Two different jobs. So
that's the overall point. They're complementary to each other. You see what I'm saying? Like, women have complementary obligations. Well, we look at what we feel And if they're gonna come in and make up the spaces that men just can't do, then they have a different obligation to that. You see what I'm saying? And because it's not our obligation, we can't say or define what we think women should be doing. Now, the women that we believe complement who we are, they have a different role, because like, even if you had a woman, right, and she can fully appreciate you, you wouldn't have to pull out the scorecard to say that you work harder than she does. You see what I'm saying? But you wouldn't have a need for it. You see what I'm saying? Because if she comes in and fills in your gaps and makes up or adds momentum to you in whatever way that she does with just her presence and being around and being healthy for you, right? That's all you need from her. In fact, you're going to make her have to require less, because the more efficient you are, the less difficult your life is by itself. So we all work with each other in a complementary way. Now, if the firefighter isn't doing their job, do you expect the police to come in and pretend to be the firefighter?
No.
That's the same concept. Like, if we're not doing our job and the woman isn't doing their job, we're not in a position to critique one another. You see what I'm saying?
I just believe that they have it easier, though.
I do understand what you're saying, though.
Women have it easier than men.
I get why you say that, because you see it all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, women have it easier than men.
You see it all the time.
Men can't go out and men can't. Women are born. If women are born prettier, they're making it even easier, right? They have looks. They can sail on their whole life with looks. They can get on a yacht with looks. They can get the best of everything with looks. That's called pretty privilege, if you want to use that word. Men don't have that privilege. We don't have that. We always have to work for everything we have. For us to be on a yacht, we got to work for that yacht. For us to be on a yacht, we have to be on the right social skills for that yacht. We always have to work for what we want. We aren't born just to be able to be there. All right. We can't upload a picture and become instant millionaires, right? Or make thousands of dollars.
But see, here's the thing.
So they have it easier.
Here's the thing. Though.
But that's a very low scale.
Wait. Here's the thing. They do have it easier if you're looking at it from that aspect. But I have also seen the flip side of it, where they used that quote unquote easy and found out that they were compromising their core values, and now they can't live a normal life. So there's always an exchange for that. You understand what I'm saying? Right, so that's why when we talk values, I don't even look at them, because they're doing what they need to do for the moment. But we all know that there's going to be a YouTube post or an Instagram post saying, "I regret this. Please don't do it. I just needed some money real fast." You understand what I'm saying?
But that's why I'm saying our core values.
That's not technically them living on easy mode, though, because they use that short span of time to ruin their entire lives. They're gonna have it hard. You understand what I'm saying? There's always a flip side of it. But and that's why, like I said, man, I don't deal with that, because that's, for one, that ain't my business, and two, for them to do that, they would have to compromise what they believe anyway, just for $1. You understand what I'm saying? So there's always a trade-off.
Yes, but if you go back to the questions, how do our values impact our day-to-day life? We have to live by that. Women don't. Because if they really lived by what we're saying, that the way the men do it, they can't afford to ruin their reputation out there by doing things that go against who they are as ladies and women. That's what I'm trying to say.
But
we have
to. Okay, Antoine, you got it. You got it.
I'm just saying.
I think this is what Chris is saying is this, Antoine. We shouldn't care. Men need to focus on men. Rule number one. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you focus on what you're supposed to be doing, the women that are meant to be in your life appear. And guess what they do? They adopt and cooperate with you. They adopt your philosophy and enhance whatever it is that you're doing. And then, and only then, you get to grade them by how they help. If they stop helping and they're more damaging to what you got going on, then they get to get out of easy mode. We're supposed to make each other's lives easy. Now, when you want to grade it on a low, you know what I'm saying, tier, like when you were talking about yachts and all the aesthetics and being able to have access to stuff, that's a different class of woman too. You see what I'm saying?
You really think a woman could enhance my art career?
I don't know about your art career. I'm
All right,
talking
gentlemen.
about
I
general.
think we
We're not
about to go somewhere.
Yep, we are.
Way off.
like
We're about
right.
to go someplace that ain't
Here's
got nothing to
where.
do with the
Go ahead.
topic.
So here's what I want to do. I want to go back to my thought, and that was that we're different. All right. So let's just take two different people. Right. I'm reading right off of my list. All right. You get one person who their top two values are enjoyment and excitement, right? And then you have another person, their top two values are discipline and leadership. So think about how different those two people are going to be, because this person is focused on enjoyment and excitement. This person is focused on leadership and discipline.
Right.
That's why when I'm saying that I think it's more about the differences and what we value, look across the videos, look at what people value. It's not the same. So that's what I believe is just in what we value more than anything. So if you have a woman who is focused on excitement and enjoyment, and you have a man that's focusing on discipline and leadership, probably not going to work. You know what I mean? Vice versa. Well, it may work, who knows? But the lifestyles are going to be different. They're going to look different. Just
Right.
different if you had a woman who's focused on leadership and discipline, it's going to look different than a man who's focused on enjoyment and excitement. Look what happens to look at men who focus on enjoyment and excitement. Their lives, after a while, they like, bro, you focused on the wrong thing. You trying to look cute for somebody.
Some people
You know what I
value
mean?
attention more than anything.
Intention and different things like that, because it's about the excitement and just enjoying life, being happy, not the leadership and the discipline stuff that comes with it. So, like I said, I think it comes down to what people focus on and what becomes like their values and what they put before other values.
And to Vic's point, we shouldn't care.
I could care less.
We should
And with
not
that being said,
care.
perfect segue to Chris. Go ahead and answer it. Can values sometimes create conflicts?
Yes, when you
Yes.
are trying to force your values
That's the
onto
whole
me,
point.
like I don't have a say so in nothing. What is your problem? Now, if we can find a way to intermingle our values so that way we can move forward, then that is different. But you are not going to say, hey, I value this and I'm just gonna be okay with it if I disagree with it. I told y'all, I do not negotiate with terrorists, and my happiness is paramount. I have no problem taking a L.
Yep.
Like fitness. Fitness is a value of mine.
Look,
It doesn't cause conflicts in my life, but for some people it does. Some people's fitness causes problems, whether it's healthy fitness or, well, I guess lack of fitness wouldn't be a fitness value. But
I think that
you know,
causes a great. I think that causes a great. I mean, yeah, that causes like people. If like Chris is really into his training, so am I. I think we're all pretty much into our training. So we have our routine, we have our diet plan. We don't eat bad like every day. I mean, we eat for energy, not pleasure. I would say most of the time until it's time to enjoy ourselves. That's a hard lifestyle. I mean, maybe not for us, but for people.
it's exactly, which goes back to what Uncle was saying earlier. Is like, is it hard for you if it's part of who you are, and it's just part for the course? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to. Like, I don't break out into sweats when I see a drive-through. You know? Like
I don't either.
some people can't.
That's funny.
Some people can't pass a Taco Bell without having to go in the drive-through. You see,
Without drooling.
you see what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
which is why like even down to like we talk about values and conflicts. Like, look at the comment I just put up there at the end. Sexually undisciplined men and women don't value the same things as sexually disciplined men and women. That's why you got whole TV shows dedicated to infidelity. There's a whole market that caters towards infidelity because it's a conflict of values, because everybody getting lied to in that, you know what I'm saying? More people are getting lied to on one side than the other.
Positivity is a value.
Absolutely, man.
People people sometimes have conflict with people who are positive all the time. It's like, bro, the person, who you think he is? Think he
Like I
better
was
than
supposed to be
somebody? I'm like,
mad because
bro,
you mad. Like, get out my
yeah.
face.
I
But
don't
just being
value
positive can be can be conflict for people.
people
So
that complain. Oh my God, worst people
Mhm.
ever.
Yeah. Look at some other ones. Productivity.
Yep.
Productivity create conflict because if you the dude who always making the numbers, oh man, who he think he is? He think he the boss. He trying to get promoted. I'm like, bro, I believe in productivity. I believe in discipline. I believe in these are my core values. I believe in being the best. And people don't like it. They hate. Crazy. Hate on people with productivity. Structure.
Discipline. All of it come back to discipline.
I'm just looking at some ones. What do y'all think? If they cause conflict, growth,
Oh
huge.
yeah,
Yes.
If you
yeah,
value growth,
yeah. Oh, absolutely. You can't be in the same spot in 10 years that we left you in. You know what I'm saying?
you lose people in growth.
You lose people in growth.
Take the L.
Take the
Take
L.
the L. They say Will Smith need to go on and get divorced and take the L, and pay that woman. Hey, next, moving on. Talk about that after the show.
Nope.
We're gonna flip. We're gonna flip to the other side of that. All right. So with the other side of that, how can a shared set of values strengthen connections within a group?
You build relationships.
Yep. And you that's a bond right there.
Relationships are the key to establishing culture. Like I was talking to one of my friends about the area where we live, right? It's a lot of people here with skills, talent, and you know what I'm saying, and they got the individual discipline to do stuff, right? But because you don't have an overarching um, connection to the community that's organic, you don't have any culture. So like now you just kind of like lost and moving around and a lot of individualism. But when you move to certain places, like Antoine's a creator, right? And you live in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
better for your craft to take your craft to Beverly Hills, right?
Yep.
So
California in general.
so your environment changed, so you have better opportunities, different relationships, and more room for growth, and all that pivots off of your ability to build relationships. You know what I'm saying? That pivot off of you, right?
Yep.
So
I
if you got shared experiences, like people have trauma bonds, right? But that is a connection to somebody else. But you can have healthy versions of connections to people too that strengthen, you know what I'm saying, your connections in a group.
But see,
I
this is
even-
this is when you say a shared set of values, this is one of those times where like attracts like. You understand what I'm saying? Like you start attracting the people that you know you're supposed to be around. Like, and I tell you, I say this all the time. I say this on here, and I say this on the Empowering Perspective podcast. I changed my core set of values and found myself here with y'all having conversations every Wednesday and every Friday about man shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like attracts like, but you have to. It just got okay for us to feel like we have value, and two, actually have core values that we can stand upon without getting looked at and put in some box that we don't belong in. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I said before, man, this is like working a muscle you ain't never used before, because a lot of us ain't never used this before.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's okay now. You understand what I'm saying? And we're starting to see more people that understand that it's okay now. So you're starting to see more platforms like this where men get to sit around and talk because it's okay now. You understand what I'm saying?
Man, all of this stuff pivots to me, it just pivots off of discipline. You know what I'm saying? If undisciplined people hang together, disciplined people hang together, and then the outcomes reflect their discipline. You know, that's just it.
Hey, real quick before we roll out, not we roll out, but Chris he got something he gotta take care of, so he gotta roll out. But before he does, Chris, do you got a couple minutes to say any closing or final thoughts or anything like that?
Are we talking final thoughts about the whole concept of value or
Yeah,
things?
anything, any last words, anything you want to share before you roll out?
I guess I'm gonna say what I said earlier. One, we have value. Two, it's okay to look at ourselves as valuable. And three, it's okay to have core values, because to me, my core values is that's my price tag. Are you willing to pay it to be in my life? You understand what I'm saying? That's really how I look at it. Antoine makes a very, very good point when he says that our reflection, quote unquote, has it on easy mode. We are not born with our value. We have to build it. They're born with their value. All they have to do is keep it. I understand where he's coming from, but like I said, I don't care about that because I need to fix me. If you fix the kings, the kingdom falls back in line. So fix the kings, kings. And I use that term loosely because I hate when people use overinflated terms to describe themselves. I can't stand that shit. Like you don't really even need to do that. And that's just boosting your ego and your self-esteem and that movie you got playing in your head that only stars you. But I digress. Fellas, it's okay. We have value. We're valuable. And it's okay to have a set of standards. And don't let nobody talk you out of breaking your code and your core values and your standards, because the people that you're supposed to be around will come around, and then you'll start adding your value to other people in the group. That's what it's all about. I guess that's my final thought. My apologies. I will step down from my soapbox.
Man, you was good, man. I appreciate you for being here tonight, man. I'll check you out. Have a good one, brother.
All right, y'all be good.
Hey man,
Yes,
you have
sir.
a good night, brother. Good
Yep,
talking to
have
you.
a great
Ciao.
night.
Later.
Yes, sir.
And jumping on that, I want to say, I think it's so important if you are going to have a significant other, your core values have to match in some way to have that open communication. I think that in order to go in the same direction, you need some similar core values and your
All right.
beliefs.
So I think I broke this down in my head. It took me some years, because I've always heard these two sayings, right? On one hand, people will say, birds of a feather flock together, right? And then they also say, opposites attract. So which one is it?
Healthy polarity
Yeah, I
attracts.
think it's balance between the two.
Like that's that there's like what Antoine was speaking on earlier, not even to go back to it, and what Chris kind of highlighted before he walked out. This is why we shouldn't care about what the values are of others, especially even if it's women, because if men don't have their values in check, we can't balance out anything. So if you're the standard, right, in your life, things that you're disciplined on and undisciplined about, you got to be careful who you connect with that expose it, that may overexpose you, know what I'm saying, your vulnerability, because you're not A1 all the way around, right? So this is why you end up having different relationship experiences until a person's boundary is crossed, or that or the core value gets challenged or compromised, and then that ends the relationship, right? There's something in there that pushes you away from each other, and then there's something in there that keeps a boundary, you know what I'm saying, where and that boundary in between is always respect at a minimum. Like you can anticipate like what your person that's for you isn't good at. So if they keep doing it over and over again, at some point, who's the idiot for expecting different?
Yeah.
At that point, it's about what you accept. So I think that this is one of those things that can be true for both cases, but the determination is it a healthy opposite or a negative opposite?
What do you think, Antoine?
I think he's absolutely right. But I think men choose the healthy relationship. I think it's up to men because you know what you're choosing and we determine that. So I think we walk into it determining what we want and what we consider healthy. That's our choice. Right. And if I have certain core values I believe that I was raised with that I'm not gonna compromise. I don't believe in compromising at all anyways. I believe in finding coexistence. I don't believe in that compromise shit. Me personally. I think that you coexist. I think you find a way, but the whole giving up something for something and no. Because eventually you will resent that person for having given up something that you so love and was raised with. right? So I think that men are the ones that determine all that. You're along
Okay,
for the
so
ride.
so when it comes to, is it opposites attract or birds of a feather flock together? I think it's
So
both.
if I had to pick one, I'd say birds of a feather flock together, because you know that's what I believe. If you're together, if you ride the same way, you ride or die together, you do all that stuff together, it's gonna work. If you have opposites attract, what's an opposite? Why would I go with something that's opposite? Obviously, you know, what am I gonna do with that?
I think
Well,
people do both all the time though, because
Well, what's an
like
opposite? Give me an example of an
all right,
opposite. What
so
would
hold
you
on.
say?
I'll give you mine, and then I'll give you out
Okay,
mine. My answer has an example in it.
okay,
So when it comes to birds of a feather, I think that that's true when it comes to values, right? Birds of a feather flock together. So if you like, let's use your example of a relationship. I think that your values, your core values have to be in line in order for your relationship to work. They have to. They
yes.
have to align at some point. The core values have to align, especially when it comes to certain things like honesty and integrity and different things like that. They have to align. You
religion.
know, yeah. And then I think it's also opposites attract. And I think that's when it comes, that's when we start talking about the polarities, whether there's masculine and femininity, and I think that and I think in order to have masculinity, you have to have femininity to be there. You know what I mean? I think you have to have both. So if you look at a relationship, in most relationships, one is usually one more masculine and one is usually more feminine. In I'm speaking in general terms, you know what I mean? And then I also think it same thing when it comes to males and females. So I think that in certain areas, especially when it comes to our values, yes, birds of a feather flock together. That's why people, will be on maybe on drugs or alcoholics or something, and then they'll move to another state. As soon as they get to the new state, they done already found people that have the same values as them when it comes to drugs and alcohol and stuff, right?
But
Because
what is an
they
op?
flock
But what's
together.
but you still didn't say what an opposite is. What would be an
Opposites, like male and female, they attract
okay? Oh,
masculine
so
and
but
femininity.
I'm talking
It
about like just say when you say when I understood opposite attracts, I thought you meant like that's not the type of woman you would be attracted to in order for
oh,
her to
Talking
be
about
good.
values.
Oh,
It's
okay,
more,
okay.
it's deeper. It's deeper than that. It's like, me and my wife attract because like she's more feminine and I'm more masculine. So it works.
That's how
It
it should
wouldn't
be, right?
work. It wouldn't work if she was masculine. You know
Well,
what I
no,
mean?
because
It
somebody
wouldn't
has.
work here. Or it
But
probably wouldn't work if I was just as feminine as her.
but let's be real. That's how it should be, though, right? I mean,
No,
you're a
I'm
woman.
not going to say that's how it should be. I'm going to say
Really,
that
really. So you believe in females?
no, I believe that people
Platform.
do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, this
I
No,
don't
no.
know what
A
I
woman
don't
is
know what
feminine.
should be. I know what I know I have my beliefs, but I don't necessarily try to push my beliefs on somebody else and say that my beliefs should be someone else's beliefs. So
he
I believe what I believe, and that's it. I stop there.
Well, I believe in men being masculine and women being feminine. I don't. I mean, there's no. I'm not gonna compromise that. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna. What would I compromise that for? Like, I don't think any man should I mean, if a man has some kind of like feminine traits about him and this and that, um, that's. I mean, he has to find a woman that's okay with that.
I agree exactly, and that's why, and that's kind of why I said what I said. I
But it's not
understand
the
what you're
norm.
saying, but I exactly, but I
Okay.
also think that there's still a large portion of. I mean, you think about it. I don't want to use this term, but I'm gonna use it just because of this thing real quick. There's a lot of beta males out there that bad, whoever you are, whatever. I'm not saying nobody's in that. I'm saying it's even a bad thing. But those guys, there need to be a place for them too, if you know what I mean, because there are some masculine women out there who may be better off with a beta type male. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that if it works for them. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Not necessarily saying it works for me, but if it works for them, then let it work. You know what I mean? Because it works for them.
But Vic, would you say that would be a woman out of code?
no. I'd
Really, a
say
masculine woman's not
No,
out of
she
code?
knows her role.
well this because this is the thing.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
look. let me nothing's 100% across the board. All men ain't masculine. All women
Right.
ain't feminine. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
that would be out of code if a man was more feminine. Okay.
no, let me finish. Because like here's the thing. What's code for one person is not the same as others. Like people got different moral constitution, moral code. People like it's like the fan. You don't expect the fan of like Unk's a Dallas Cowboy fan. He's not gonna have the same conversation about football as somebody that follows the 49ers. You know what I'm saying? And the 49ers don't care what the Cowboys are doing. And the Cowboys fans don't care what the 49ers are doing. So I don't care about other people's moral fortitude that I'm not responsible for or I have to interact with. So if those men ain't masculine, they have to, and if they desire a mate, they have to get the mate that complements them because I don't have their problems. So I'm not going through the course of my day looking for men that ain't masculine to tell them to be more masculine. That I don't care. So like I look at things that way because my morals and values don't. I got to mind my business.
Yeah, but I guess I'm looking at it like this. So I know, and I would like to say I know them. There are masculine. When I say they have feminine traits, for me, the one that I'm talking about is specifically no names, of course. He is very prim and proper, dresses to a T before he leaves the house. He's like, he would have to like put on his makeup, let's say, compared to a woman before he left the house, right? But he's a very masculine guy once he's got his shit together, right? That's as far as feminine I would say a man should be, because some men are rugged, some men are not, but
I can't relate.
The feminine side of him keeps him like, it would be the equivalent of nails and hair and makeup being done, but he doesn't wear that stuff. I'm just saying that would be the more of the feminine side of him. But I don't believe it's the norm. If you're telling me that, I'm not that I would interfere, but if that's your thing, for a woman to be masculine, that would be the norm. That would be craziness, because that's not the norm. She's a woman. Femininity is within. It's who your makeup is. You can go against it and be raised against it, but at the end of the day, you're a woman. Well, I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But what's feminine and what's masculine is relative, because if you are, there are cultures out there where women have a different representation within that culture that would not necessarily be considered feminine or masculine somewhere else. Some places just like that's just how the women do. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got a woman that's not raised, but like, yeah, let's just say if you take a family that's raised on a farm, the women that are raised in that life, they are feminine relative to the farm life.
Right.
But if you take that farm chick that's farm feminine, you know what I'm saying, to other farmers and put them in the city, they're not gonna have the same type of representation. You know what I'm saying? You take an Amish person out of the environment and put them in the city somewhere.
Okay.
Like what's feminine and masculine changes.
I agree with that 100%.
Same thing for men. You know what I'm saying? You take a man that's raised around a bunch of women, he's not gonna display his masculinity the same way, you know what I'm saying, as a man that's been raised with a bunch of brothers and, you know what I'm saying, his father knows his grandfather.
Right.
So all men cannot simulate the same masculinity. They can't.
That's true.
So because like when it comes down to it, somebody gonna fold when bullets start flying. And it might be the dude that you least expected to step up and take charge. Everybody doesn't respond to the same things the same way. So like masculinity has a very broad blanket and it's not limited to men. It's you know what I'm saying? Just like femininity isn't limited to women either, because it's some men that's feminine. So you got to look at, and this is why I talk about defining it by behavior, not just what the aesthetic shows you. Yeah, when you see a man, you expect masculinity. You see a woman, you expect soft femininity, whatever that is, right? But if you got women that are raised a certain type of way, And when you factor in poverty, you factor in like religious education, education in general, quality of life, the softness of that woman changes relative to the environment. You know what I'm saying? Because she has to be able to attract a certain type of man that balances out or displays what her character actually is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like women in the industry, do you think that they are, you think Beyonce makes deals with her femininity, or do you think she uses a masculine approach? You know what I'm saying? Because doing deals and stuff, that's a masculine behavior. You know what I'm saying? Negotiating, all these other things that by nature is masculine, because women shouldn't be having to make the deals, right? In general. But because it's entertainment, she has to play in a man's space. So in order to thrive in a man's space, you have to understand how men think. So you have to think in a masculine way. Do you solve problems by thinking feminine?
Do you think what?
Do you solve problems in your life by thinking feminine?
No way.
You can't simulate it. This is why I say I can't relate. This is why I can't speak for a dude that want to go paint his nails.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand that presentation and none of that stuff, because I wasn't raised like that. I wasn't raised around those types of people that move that way. So you just can't look at a person's aesthetic and then think that just because it's the opposite sex is supposed to be feminine. Because there's a lot of women that look good, but they move feminine. You see what I'm saying? Or they talk masculine. But because those two don't all the time sync up for the person that might be like you or be like me, it don't match up with how we were brought up. We can't relate to it. You're muted.
I said I could see that. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I like that.
Well, here we go then.
Let's go. Let's
start rolling with some of these true false questions. I got like
There you
5
go.
of them.
I like those.
We got like 12 minutes. Yeah, I got these just for Antoine. Antoine, true or false? Shared values can be a foundation for building strong and lasting relationships.
True. 100% true.
Give me
Yes.
an example of a shared value that you and your future wife are going to have in order to build that foundation.
Good question.
That we take care of our parents. No questions asked.
So what would it be like? Family or
Family.
something?
Love, well, I mean, yeah, I'm talking immediate
love,
I'm talking immediate family, parents. Yeah. Yeah.
So she has to be someone who puts family first, and that no matter what, we're going to take care of our parents.
Yep.
That's, you know what, Antoine? That's deep on so many levels, and that is so far thinking into the future that a lot of people don't think about that. Because you think about this, at some point, all of our parents going to get old, and at some point they're going to pass away. I already lost my father already. So when that time comes, like if one like, yeah, I want to move mom and dad in, and Owen like, nah,
that's no question. My parents or her parents will never see the inside of a home, ever.
Ever. Thinking about that, that's something that a lot of people probably do not think about or talk about or discuss when they start dating. You know what I mean? That's a huge value that you have to have right there. That's huge.
Right there. My brother's wives know if my mother, or heaven forbid anything happened on her side of the family or we are taking care of them. There ain't gonna be no inside nurse. There ain't gonna be no home. We ain't visit them at a shop. No, they're gonna live with us, and we're gonna take care. They brought us into the world, taking care of us. We're gonna take care of them going out. That's not even like a compromise. Even if she has to tell me she has to think about it, it's over, because there's not even gonna be a discussion about that. I don't even want to. I can't even stress that enough, boy. Whew. My brother's wives know that. They don't even want to. When my brother says he has to go do something for my mother, they don't even tell them the plans that they had for the day. It's like, see ya, okay, let me know when you're ready.
Can I be honest, Antoine? Good, bad, indifferent, or left, right, whatever. I think a lot more about that since I've known you, right? I've always been an advocate of family and relatives are not necessarily the same. I think some of that comes from someone, whoever maybe the people believe that is trying to destroy the family at some point. And I think some of it may come from just how things are here in on this side of the world. If you look at the other world, everybody takes care of the elderly. Everybody takes care of mom and grandma. Everybody does it, it seems like, except for here. So it's like I'm leaning more onto the fact that maybe I got some wrong information and that I've been holding on to for years and years, and that maybe I need to lighten up, my thought process about certain things, or maybe evolve, or even start considering things that I may not have been taught, not even taught, but just may not have ever, yeah, been taught or experienced. And it starts with the fact that a lot of times when we grow up over here, you turn 18 and get out of the house. So I thank you for that, being able to see the other side of it, because most people in my world are like 18, get out the house, mom and them doing their own thing, whatever, like this. And some people don't necessarily agree about, who they can bring into the home, after, when people get elderly, taking care of them. So that's a good one. Huge.
That's
Man, I could go on for that, but I ain't. We got 7 more minutes. True, false, Antoine and Vic. Values-based conflicts in relationships are always negative and should be avoided.
values based.
And not always negative. Sometimes conflict can be healthy, because you don't know people's triggers.
Values-based conflicts
Yeah,
can be healthy.
yeah, they can be.
Well, I need an example.
Value based.
So
Need an
let's
example?
let's just say parenting, right? Like in parenting, if you got a child that stumbles, gets hurt, or something like that, mom wants to run, pick the baby up. Dad is like, nope, let him get up. You know what I'm saying? And that's directly reflective of how he was raised, and it's directly reflective of how she was raised. Now, in there's a conflict of, like whose guidance should be listened to. But then the healthy part of the conflict is like, hey, I'm not doing this to punish him. I'm doing this to help build his resiliency. Now you got an understanding of why either parent, is trying to help, in that nurturing and, maturing process. So that's an example of a healthy conflict in, in values. It's not always negative, because conflict is communication.
What you got, Antoine? You say false too?
Yeah, I agree with that. What he just said, it's true. Always negative. Yeah.
Personal growth can be hindered by not living in alignment with your
True.
core values.
Woo!
True.
True.
Of course, it's dead. Because like even before like Chris got off, he gave that example of women compromising, themselves on the front side of their life, and then on the back side they deal with the long lasting repercussions of the decisions they made in their early youth. Shoot, man, you look at people go to jail every day, B, for compromising, and not living in alignment with their core values. So things happen to people. People get killed for not living, according to their core values. So there's always a lot of hindrance and sometimes termination.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out discipline and like health. You know what I mean? I was just looking at those two right now while we was on this. And I was looking at, if your core value, like, you think about somebody being in the military for 20 years, maybe their core value is health, but maybe it's not. I don't know where I was going with this.
But your core values, okay, if you go off track, you were raised a certain way, and if you go off track, you're in foreign territory. That's off your moral code and what you believe in. The minute you start going off your beliefs and off, you're out of alignment right there.
Yeah. I guess I should have just left that personal growth can be hindered and, just left my answer the way it was. Try to add to it. That's what I do sometimes for being having diarrhea of the mouth. With that being said, true or false? A values-driven culture in the workplace can enhance employee
True.
satisfaction
Yeah,
and productivity. I agree.
yeah.
I'd even say in the
In
even
life.
the house, in life.
Right.
An incentivized life is a life worth having fun. You know what I'm saying? Experiencing. If you don't have any incentives in life, you don't have a happy life in most cases. That's like if you got incentives that it gives you goal, purpose, you know what I'm saying, some sort of structure, and you get a chance to get disciplined about accomplishing those tasks. Without incentives, you have nothing to work for.
You got two more. True or false? It's possible to consciously cultivate and strengthen your values over time.
Yes, true. Like
How?
people pray. People pray for more discipline and discernment. People ask for clarity. When you ask for clarity, when you ask questions, you're consciously cultivating, you know what I'm saying, like your decision-making process. Asking more questions before you speaking before you're spoken to. All of these things are part of cultivating and strengthening your values over time.
Even
If
with
you-
your significant other.
Even if, because if you choose to speak first all the time, that don't necessarily mean that you're right. Just because you can be loud and wrong every time.
Stephen A.
Hey, I like my Stephen A. Don't be messing with my Stephen.
You still be loud around. Just because you say it loud don't mean you're right. Just because you
I
say
like
it
my
with
Stephen
passion don't
A.
mean you're right.
I like my
Yeah.
Oh, I like Stephen A.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at him.
He is so
But I don't
refreshing
like-
on the air.
What I don't like is this Nanner gang over here. But I appreciate you, Gerald, for coming over here, showing some love, being in the comments and all those different things, man.
Who's that? Who are you
you know,
talking about?
Oh, they beat the brakes
Yeah,
off of y'all too.
yeah, they beat the brakes off the Cowboys, and that's
Yeah.
okay. That's
Yeah.
all the love I'm giving them Niners fans this year. But with that being said, I'm gonna move on to the next question. Appreciate you, for Gerald, again for coming on the platform and showing some love and respect. I really appreciate it. Here's the last one. Antoine, true or false? Values can vary greatly among individuals, making it important to respect diverse perspectives.
Okay, explain that to me a little bit, because I want to make sure I
This is
understand.
gonna be tough for him.
Yeah, I'm like,
This for Antoine. right.
it's very greatly among value. Yeah, okay.
Yep. You think one thing, I think something else.
I will hear what you have to say. Doesn't mean I have to agree. I will
You
hear
have
what
to
you
agree.
have to say. Yeah, I
It's
don't have
saying
to agree.
respect it. Respect someone
Depending on
else's
what it is,
perspective.
depending on what it is. I don't respect everybody's values, because if it's something asinine, I'm like, I'll call it asinine, but I won't respect it. I'll say, all right, that's how you think. Good for you. Knock yourself out. Woo!
You are respecting it, whether or not you agree with it or not. That's being respectful. I
Yeah,
think.
that's as
Maybe
much as
not.
you're going to get. But I'll call them out on it if I really truly don't believe. I won't stay quiet about it.
Why do you
Yeah.
feel the need to call somebody out on it?
Because I want to make it clear that I don't believe in that.
Who
Wow.
cares? Nobody cares if you don't like it or not.
Well, if we're talking about it, obviously it came up for a reason. If it came up
Just
for a
like-
reason, if we came up for a reason and we're talking about it, I'm going to give you my strongest opinion about it, because you obviously we're talking about it. You're going to hear mine and I'm going to hear yours. So that's why it came up. I wouldn't just blur it out there out of the blue.
But you already said you don't care, even if your wife, what she care about your painting.
I really don't, because it doesn't.
Yeah,
She
so
doesn't.
why? So exactly. So if you don't care what she thinks, right?
I don't even think she will see it. To be honest with you, I don't even think I'll call her and see it.
Exactly. You wouldn't even care.
Yeah.
Right. So why is it that you would tell somebody else? Just like you don't need her like telling you how good something is. Why do you feel the need to say, well, I don't agree with you or whatever like this, or call somebody out?
If it came to the point, let's say it came to the point where we're talking about it, I would feel the need to tell her I really don't care what you have to say. But if it came to the, I wouldn't just say it automatically. I wouldn't
And
just.
she was like, "Ooh, babe, I like you. That's a nice pic. It's a nice painting back there."
Okay, I mean, okay. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, okay, but you're not signing the check.
Okay, so what if Michael LeBron James was like, "Oh man, that's a nice painting back there."
Great, he's a potential client.
Hey, that boy transactional as hell, man. You gotta look at it.
Like, am I
because,
wrong?
okay, so because
No.
he's a potential
Those your
client,
values.
he'll
If, your
get
wife,
more love.
if you're fixing your car and your wife goes, "Ooh, great oil change," okay, I mean,
I was like, "Yeah, baby,
I mean,
I'm about
you
to
know, it
change
gets
your
done
oil
every
next."
so often, right? Like,
I understand what you're saying. You know, like I don't. It's like values can vary greatly among individuals, making it important to respect diverse perspectives. As a person that's worked in many diverse environments, this is very key. You know, to minding. This is part of minding your business. That's just all it is.
Conflict.
yeah.
Like this is
Okay,
part of minding.
let me ask, challenge Vic on something. If you're writing something and you have it down and you figure, "Ooh, this is it. This is this. I'm nailing this right now," and your
Right.
girl comes around and goes, "I don't like what you wrote. I don't think it should be written that way. I think you should write it this way." You're gonna change it, or you're gonna say, "Yeah, okay," and it's not gonna be written that way because I nailed it like this. That's all you're gonna say. You're not gonna entertain the thought of her telling you.
No, I'm gonna listen intently, and I'm gonna do what I want to do quietly.
There you go. It's like it doesn't matter. Like,
that's the difference right there, though, Antoine. You are willing to verbally protest, whereas I don't care. So I don't. So like, if somebody offers unsolicited information or they want to, I'm gonna let them speak. But then I'm gonna be like, okay, cool. I don't feel offended by like what a person takes. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge of, especially if it's unsolicited. But see, again, I'm not gonna go around asking for something until I'm ready for criticism too. You see what I'm saying?
that's what I'm trying to say. So if she comes down and says, "Oh, it's a nice drawing," I'm gonna say, "Thank you." You know, did you bring the coffee?
If I'm saying I'm open to criticism, I'll take whatever they're saying into consideration. But if you come with something unsolicited, I don't have to listen to it.
Here's what I think, Vic. And this goes to Antoine. As a leader in the military, I don't know what Antoine has ever led. And I'm just saying, like, I was a leader for 16 of the 20 years that I was in the military, right? And the other thing is I was an air traffic controller. So as an air traffic controller, I could be this rank. The person training me could be here. I could actually be their supervisor. But when they're training me, they're in charge. You know what I mean? I had to learn how to respect them. There was a mutual understanding. Don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? At the same time,
Be respectful.
you know what I mean? Be respectful. As a leader, I understood that someone who may not be as knowledgeable as me may still have something to offer that I may not know. Even though I may be an expert in the military and being in leadership, being in the army, you know, I did 20, but say if I'm in the army for 18 years and someone who's just coming in the army, I'm like, hey, we need to go do X, Y, and Z. And they like, I think we should do it like this. Me, the type of leader I was always open to other information. Not that they was telling me how to do my job, but there may be something in there that I can use to help me. But I understand when you're creating how that could be, you know, a little bit, well, you know, a little bit or even vastly different, you know. I don't know.
But I would, if I'm in the
But
army, I've never been in the army, but if I'm in the army, I'm the type of guy that if the captain or whatever, I don't know the ranks, but says, go shovel that herd of shit over there and put it over there. I'm okay, that's what you want. That's what we're going to get. I'm the type of guy that if I'm shoveling it with somebody and somebody said, "What the fuck do we got to do?" I'll be looking at you like, bro, that's not a job to question. It just shovel the shit with me. Let's get it over with. That's what I mean.
What I mean is,
he's the guy.
Yeah. What I mean is, like, if you say, hey, if he say, hey, go shovel the crap and use this, this, and this, and they say, well, nah, I want to use it this way. I wasn't too pig-headed to let them do it their way because I didn't care. As long as it got
As long as
shoveled,
it got done.
it got done.
Yeah.
But
No
I
micromanagement.
understood that sometimes I may not know everything. But like I said, I think that's a little bit different than what you're talking about. So I kind of digress on my point.
Okay.
I think what you're talking about is more so, you're creative. And I understand that someone without a creative eye, like your wife or something like that, may not get it. But I would say this. At the same time, people, when you're around them, they do learn things about you, and sometimes, you can sense things or pick things up, you know what I mean? And I would say in any relationship, be open to the possibility that someone may see things about you that you may not see about yourself.
I like
Especially
that. I'll be open to that.
the more they're around you, So it's like maybe in year one, you're like, look, chick, this, yeah, don't come down here. But if y'all been to 10 years and she done seen all your paintings, she done seen you progress over the years. And she sees you having a bad day or something like that. I would assume that if you guys are building, you're gonna learn more about each other and stuff like this. And
Yeah, I like that.
maybe,
I like that.
yeah. But I can see in the first, like, look, chick, get out of here. You the first painting you seen. But after some time,
that would take some serious years, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Like right now, me and Vic, we've been watching your paintings for 2 years, and I think that I could see some that I have seen that are better than others. That's my personal opinion.
That's great. I mean? That is great. Yeah.
And it's because I've seen them, and I've seen certain ones over and over and over, and I'm just like, this one is better than this one. I have my favorites. I think certain ones are done better than other ones.
But that's what art's about, and that's what I love. You see, that's what I love. I love that. Yeah. Okay, so I did my job right. Because
and that means you got to be open to criticism.
Yeah, you got to like you listen. I draw the way I draw, but you may walk into an art show, and that line, that simple line, just does it for you. It's the one you want on your wall. My work is great, but you just gravitated towards that red line, and I gotta respect that because it's the creative mind. You see something in that red that I don't, yeah. Like some of the words that Vic say, I'm like, yeah, I could resonate with that. Some of the words I say, man, are you kidding me? Right? It's just words have power. So when I know one that describes me, I'm like, shit, you know what? That's true. That's me. Like what you just said. She's gonna probably come along, and probably over the time she'll see me progress. And then she would have a solid opinion. I could relate to that. Yeah, I could relate to that.
Well, you gotta let her in.
You gotta let her in first.
See, that's the thing. You can't get her to relate if you got the red light on. You see what I'm saying? Like, and then you'll be mad because she don't support you. You crazy. You gotta let her in. You know what I'm saying?
Antoine, you know what though?
Right. Understand. I don't need her to support.
But look though.
Please. It's not that. This is what feminine energy does, though. You see what I'm saying? You ain't got enough of it around you, so this is why you can't relate when we start.
No, because you guys got to understand. I didn't have her before I was this great. I don't need her afterwards. She will do nothing to enhance it. In my creative life, she will do nothing to enhance it. Nothing. She will do nothing to enhance me as an artist.
Something you haven't experienced.
I listen. I'm telling you, she will do nothing to enhance my life, art-wise.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Antoine Chris.
That's Antoine.
I love you guys.
Hey, before you go, you see where the comment I posted? It says decentralized leadership requires knowing when to lead and when to follow. That
I didn't see that come up.
That reflects what you were talking about when you was talking about like the air traffic control situation and being trained. Like that's the thing about being a leader. You had to have followed someone to recognize leadership. And in order to lead effectively, you got to know how to consider opinions outside of your own, because you could be wrong. Somebody else can have a piece of information that changes the way that you approach every single thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to come in words. This is why you have to be a good listener. So a lot of what's being spoken on tonight is about listening, for real, actively listening and choosing what to respond to and what not. This is about picking your battles. And Going back to what Chris said before he left, you got to know how to take an L, because some things ain't worth discussing.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen,
That's all I got.
we will not be back next week. We will be back the following week. Next week, I will be at the Dave Chappelle concert. So, you guys have fun. I will see y'all back in 2 weeks. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are out as soon as I find this thing.
Whoa, whoa.